Bam! What's going on, guys? This is Garrett and Lincoln from RUNAMUCK MMA.
Here to report the last episode of the Contender Series for a minute.
Yeah.
Sad days. There go our views. There go our views. Nobody's going to want to watch anymore.
Yeah, well, not until November, so.
Not till November. We got a minute.
Yeah, so we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we got going. So basically, yeah, so this is the last Contender Series we had for a while. And it started slow. It started pretty slow. I'd say it didn't really start kicking off until, I mean, it was mostly decisions except for the final bout. But yeah, so we started the night with Kyle Driscoll versus Dinis Paiva, with Driscoll taking a unanimous decision. All unanimous decisions too, by the way. And it kind of was one of those fights where it was just not lackluster per se, but he didn't really, it wasn't that competitive from what I saw, at least.
That's how I felt as well.
Not that eye-catching or anything like that. I mean, obviously a hard-fought fight for Driscoll to get the win. Unfortunately, he did not get the contract on his way out just because, you know, maybe he needs more experience, I think is what the boss said. He just needs to make the rounds in the regional scene, and maybe he'll come back in November or sometime in the future for the Contender Series. And then we had Danyelle Wolf versus Taneisha Tennant. A relatively competitive fight for the most part.
I felt pretty into it.
Yeah, a few missteps, a few eye gouges here and there, but nothing too crazy.
This is the time to make those mistakes.
Yeah, and this was actually interesting. This is Danyelle Wolf's MMA debut. Her MMA debut was on the Contender Series, and more shocking to me, aside from that, was she actually got the contract.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's some CM Punk type stuff that they're playing with right there.
So, and the reasoning behind it from the boss was that she had like 60 amateur boxing bouts.
Yeah, that's good credit to have.
That is great credit to have, but it's like one of those things where, yeah, and that definitely shows in her fight that she had. It was just like kind of like, wow.
It's kind of jarring, yeah. Because most of these guys like coming on for the third time trying to get the contract and couldn't get it, but we always need more women in the UFC. Always.
Yeah. I think that was another big thing, that it wasn't just because of the 60 boxing bouts. It was also the fact that what did he say? Was it the what division was this?
Strawweight, I believe.
Because I think that's part of the reason he took them in, was because let's see here.
Boxing champ, blah 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 blah. Doesn't look like it says.
No, of course not.
No, but that's okay.
Yeah, but he did say that the division was either bantamweight or strawweight. That was just really
they're hurting. They need more fighters.
Yeah, I think it's like still to this day, I don't think that there's a ranking list for it on the UFC website for strawweight.
Probably not. There's just Nunes at the top.
Yeah. So you had that. So that was pretty crazy. So she got it. So I mean, that's lucky for her. We had Korey
got the contract.
Yeah, got the contract.
Out of there.
Korey Kuppe versus Michael Lombardo. Korey, he same kind of issue. This was like the fight where I was just like, okay, there's something off about this, because the two guys were just stalemating each other the entire time, it seemed like. And they were just cussing each other out in between rounds and even after the fight. And the commentators said it best, you know, you could have used that aggression in the actual fight, you know?
Yeah.
It was kind of childish of them to even attempt to get into a confrontation after they had just spent 15 minutes actually fighting each other. So I thought that was kind of like, wow, you know. And then, not to mention, it was kind of a lackluster performance, and Korey maybe could have turned it around by getting a finish, but he didn't get a finish. I heard he got somewhat confrontational with Bisping, because Bisping was not criticizing, but he it was more of him just commentating. He was just talking to the guy for the interview, and he was like, I don't think you're going to get the contract because you didn't get a finish. And
Bisping just says it how it is.
Yeah, the guy gets a little fussy over it, and lo and behold, what ends up happening, Dana White won't give him the contract because he didn't get a finish. So that was pretty. I mean, that was just kind of like you expect that.
Yeah, Bisping just says it how it is, bud.
Yeah, if there's anybody who I was like, who's not gonna get a contract, it was gonna be
Korey.
It was gonna be that guy. And then we go into the co-main with Collin Anglin versus Muhammad Naimov. Now, this was actually a very competitive fight. For me, at least, this was like, this is a little bit more gratifying getting to the end of the show because I was like, okay, you see a guy like Collin Anglin who kind of let himself get a little beat up in the first round and then really just dug deep and then just pulled out a great second and third round to just really wail on Naimov, who looked to be the favorite here. I mean, who looked to be the kind of guy who was like, well, I might be able to just win this decision. In many cases, it almost looked like he could get a finish. And then it ended up being Anglin by the end of the fight, who was very, very close to getting a finish, which I thought was just entertaining bout all around. Glad to see the guy got his contract.
I was kind of falling asleep. I'm not going to lie. Falling asleep through most of this card. Once the Collin and Naimov fight came on, I was ready. I was ready for the main event.
Yeah, it was great. And then that takes us to the main event.
Give me my contract!
Yeah, this is Gregory Rodrigues. Now they have this backwards on MMA Junkie. This is not what happened. In fact, I actually think it was Michael Lombardo who beat Korey Kuppe here, if I'm not mistaken. Let me click on.
Is there a mix-up?
I did see a little bit of a mix-up. Hold on a second. I'm not gonna get blasted in the comments for this.
You probably are now.
Yeah, right. It's too late.
Lombardo.
All right, let me go to the MMA star, please. Yeah, this guy. This was the guy that won. So they had it backwards on MMA Junkie. So it was Michael Lombardo that won, not Korey. Yeah, I don't know why.
Jordan Williams is who won.
Jordan Williams is the one who won the main event, not Gregory Rodrigues.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say take down MMA Junkie. False news.
Yeah, right. Take it down. who wrote this? Who wrote this? Fucking John Morgan and Dave Doyle.
How can you have two guys? How can you have two guys fuck something up like this?
I don't know. But anyway.
I mean, we have us.
Yeah, well, I mean, we fuck shit up all the time. I knew something was wrong, though, but I didn't say anything until we got to the main event, and I was like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. So I went back, and I was like, double check, and I was like, okay, that's wrong as well. So anyway, back on topic. We have the best fight of the night, hands down. Well, best performance of the night, I should say.
There you go.
And yeah, this was just this was satisfying. This was a satisfying note to end the night on, not just the night, but Contender Series as a whole. We got this, and obviously I know for the people watching, the footage that we have playing looks a little choppy in post. It looks fine for us, but it is going to look a little choppy, and we'll look at some photos here in a second, but that's just kind of how it works.
It's part of the show.
We also don't want to get claimed, so it kind of works for us.
Of course. And then there's punch and punch. Punch, punch, punch. He's out of there. Give me my contract. And that's all I got to say about that. So emotional.
Yeah, there it is. So yeah, so look at some pictures here.
That's the face of I don't know where I am.
Yeah, like as soon as he got pieced up, that's where it hit him. That was probably off the first shot, honestly. But yeah, this was actually a fight where it looked like Rodrigues was the one that came out super strong against Williams.
That's how I felt as well. I was like, oh, I guess third time's not a charm every time.
But then
he turned it around.
Yeah, the little fairy waved its wand and gave him that KO there. So, yeah, I mean, he really came out here, and I didn't notice he also has a little looks like a Gracie tattoo on his arm. But yeah, so we have some of these right here. That's him connecting some more shots. But yeah, this was, I mean, it was just great, you know. I mean, if there's any, that's what the Contender Series is about, you know.
It's about performances like this.
Yeah, I remember, I just read it on Tapology here. He had a no contest in his initial debut on the Contender Series. Then he went on to participate in some Bellator fights. He was a Bellator fighter prior to being on the Contender Series, which is in and of itself a big promotion. He's had both wins in Bellator, so that looks good on a resume. And then he's had several canceled bouts, it looks like. He lost in his second Contender Series in 2019 due to a split decision, which is unfortunate because we know how split decisions could be, especially from this past Saturday.
Worse.
People could be pretty upset about it.
Just a little bit.
And a couple of canceled bouts. Obviously, he wanted to get back in the game, but unfortunately couldn't get anywhere in 2020.
Had to get that knockout.
Yeah, and then came back for his Contender Series trio, his trilogy in the Contender Series, and came out swinging, came out strong. Yeah, I mean, he just did good. He just did great. There's another shot. That's Rodrigues before he went sleep. And,
before he got a little nappy poo in.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see Jordan Williams in the UFC.
I want to see what happens with him.
Yeah, I want to see him. I definitely want to see Rodrigues back again because, like I said, he looked really good. I think he just kind of let himself get caught up like that. And
I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Williams he wins his first UFC debut and he's just like, "Give me my title fight."
Yeah.
He just is gonna always go for it. That's the kind of man I like.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good. He did a good job, and came out on top here, and happy about it for him. You know,
Contender Series is what it's all about, dude.
Yep. So yeah. So unless you have any thoughts, I think that's actually going to wrap up this video. Pretty short one.
Oh my goodness, pretty short one. The last Contender Series, not a lot to talk about. We had a good knockout.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me that subscription.
Yeah, right. Give me that.
Give me those comments.
Give me that content and those comments and those likes. Give me those likes.
Let's do it, bud.
All right.
All right. See y'all.